They called her a cadet and laughed like the battle had already been written. Light years from home, the alien brass smirked at the tiny human who moved like she carried history in her hands. Then she unrolled a ragged blueprint, loaded a cannon no one expected, and everything that felt certain began to wobble. How do you rewrite a battlefield when everyone already read the playbook? You don't just fire. You change the rules. This is the moment a cadet stops being small. If you love clever underdogs and explosions of ingenuity, hit like and subscribe. We drop new hfyTales that flip the galaxy script. Share this with someone who underestimates humans. They need a lesson. Ready? Say, go below and I'll keep going with the full script. They brought her into the war room like she was an afterthought. A thin-framed human cadet with soot on her sleeves, boots still dusty from the training bits. The alien officers didn't even bother hiding their smirks. Humans were resourceful, sure, but a cadet on a frontline assignment? It felt like a joke to them before anyone spoke a word. She didn't flinch. Her name tag read Cadet Han Jisoo, and she studied the holographic map with the calm of someone who'd already replayed this moment in her head 1,000 times. Across the table, the commanders whispered loud enough for her to hear. She's barely out of school. Humans exaggerate their tactical instincts. Let her watch. She won't last a minute out there. But Jisoo wasn't there to watch. She had been tracking enemy artillery patterns for days, memorizing their rhythm like a drummer, listening for the one beat they always miss. And behind her quiet stare was a plan she hadn't told a soul. A plan built from scrap, math, and the kind of instinct you can't teach. When she requested permission to deploy a personal prototype, the room erupted in laughter. If only they knew. Jisoo's prototype didn't look like much when she wheeled it into the hangar. A patched-together frame, mismatched plating, a barrel that seemed too short to matter. Engineers paused mid-stride, blinking as if she had dragged in a broken farm tool instead of a weapon. But she saw something different. Every bolt had a purpose. Every burn mark had a story. She had spent weeks collecting discarded components, recoil dampeners from a ruined cruiser, magnetic rails from a scrapped shuttle, and a guidance core no one bothered repairing because it drifted too much. Too much for them, maybe. Not for her. Most aliens relied on predictable, regulation-approved systems. Humans? They built music out of chaos. And Jisoo's cannon wasn't designed to be pretty. It was designed to bend the rules of the battlefield. The secret lay in its loading chamber. Where others used stabilizers, she inserted a variable pressure chamber that could sing, as she described it, adjusting power output mid-shot, letting her projectiles curve, dip, and strike from angles no enemy shield could pre-read. When she presented the schematics, officers stared like she had rewritten physics with a pencil. "Cadet, this thing will blow you up," one scoffed. Jisoo only smiled. Not today. The battlefield roared long before the first order was given. Enemy artillery thumped in steady, merciless intervals, like a giant tapping its fingers, daring anyone to interrupt. Jisoo positioned her cannon on a ridge the others had dismissed, tactically useless. To her, it was perfect. High enough for trajectory play, low enough to stay off enemy scanners. Her hands moved fast, almost rhythmic. Load, lock, adjust the chamber's pressure dial until it hummed that soft, uneven tone she'd learned to trust. Around her, seasoned officers barked commands and scrambled behind shielding walls, still convinced the cadet was seconds away from embarrassing herself or worse. Then the sky split with another enemy barrage. Jisoo braved in. Now, she fired. The cannon kicked, but instead of the straight thunderbolt expected from rail weapons, her shot twisted a sharp, elegant arc cutting across the battlefield like a thrown spear guided by instinct. Alien officers froze as the projectile dipped under a shield bubble, curved again, and struck the enemy's forward relay node, the one they thought was untouchable. The explosion wasn't massive, but it was surgical. Their entire artillery rhythm collapsed in an instant. Silence hit harder than sound dot. Then came the whispers. What? What did the human just do? For a heartbeat, the battlefield felt suspended like the galaxy itself forgot how to breathe. The enemy's artillery grid flickered, then sputtered into chaos. Their perfect rhythm, their proud precision, shattered the moment Jisoo's shot rewrote the rules. She didn't wait for applause. While the alien commander scrambled to recalculate strategies, Jisoo was already adjusting the chamber again. One dial tuned for distance, another for angle, a third for what she called intuition drift, the unpredictable curve that made her cannon feel almost alive. Enemy drones rushed to pinpoint her position, but she anticipated their sweep. Before the sensors even locked on, she fired a second shot, this one looping so wide it vanished from every scanner. Officers gasped. Tech crews swore the projectile had simply disappeared. T hadn't. It reappeared 30 seconds later, diving from the upper atmosphere like a falling star, striking the enemy's shield generator from above. Their defenses collapsed in a single stunned blink. Now the Allied troops surged forward, not because they were ordered to, but because they'd just seen a lone cadet do the impossible. Hope hit them like adrenaline. And across the ridge, Jisoo steadied her cannon once more. One more shot. One more rewrite. Dust drifted across the field as the final echoes of battle faded. What had started as a rout ended as a legend in the making. Enemy forces retreated in fragmented clusters, their formations broken, their confidence cracked open by a cadet they never saw coming. Jisoo powered down her cannon, the metal still warm beneath her gloves. Around her, officers approached in a quiet, almost reverent semicircle. No more smirks. No more whispered jokes. Just stunned faces trying to understand how a nobody cadet had turned a losing front into a decisive victory. But Jisoo didn't bask in it. She simply knelt beside her cannon, checking each part like a mechanic after a long race. Every scorched line, every rattled screw, every softened weld told the story better than any metal could. One commander finally stepped forward. How did you know it would work? Jisoo looked up calm, steady, a spark of something proud but humble in her eyes. I didn't, she said. I just knew what would happen if I didn't try. Word of the battle spread fast across the fleet. They called her the cadet who bent trajectories, and the human who rewrote the field. And somewhere, across the stars, enemies whispered a new question. What else are humans hiding?